Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome. My name is Jessica Compton. I'm the founder and director of Tria Stars, promoting mental health and addiction recovery by telling our story through music, art, and resources. This afternoon, today, we have Angela. She's going to hop on here. We're going to dive into some amazing conversations. In the meantime, if you're watching, you know the drill in the comments below here. Just let us know what you're doing for self-care. Feel free to tag also a global resource that is any sort of wellness advocate. All right. Yay.
Hi.
Hi,
So
Angela. How are you?
I'm good. For some reason, you were looking out my window.
No worries. Let's dive right in. I'm going to pass the mic over to you if you want to introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Sure. So my name is Angela McCuiston, and I own a business called Music Strong. And how I got started in that, well, I should tell you what it is. It's strength training for musicians. And what I do is I specialize in injury prevention for musicians, whether that's overcoming a current injury or preventing them altogether. And the reason I got into that is because I've been injured 4 separate times as a result of playing my instrument. And every time I was injured, I was told by doctors, you should just quit playing. And that's the laziest answer I've ever paid for in my life. And I thought, that's just, we deserve better than that. And after the third time, I finally just said, you're fired. I'm going to go find something helpful. Thank you. Bye. So, I mean, honestly, I thought there's got to be a better way. And I'd always loved fitness. I thought, is there any way that I could maybe fuse my love of music and fitness together? And so right after I graduated with my master's in flute performance, I was out there in the world going, well, now what? I've got these 2 pieces of paper that say I can play my flute good and real good. What do I do with that, right? And I thought, well, I wonder if personal training is like teaching flute lessons, because I've been teaching forever and I'm a natural teacher. And I thought, well, let me check it out. And it turns out, yeah, they're very much so similar. And so I got my personal training certification. And as I was learning all about the muscles of the body and the kinesiology and how they work together, there's this whole thing about muscle imbalances. And so this light bulb just clicked in my head. Oh my gosh, this is why. I'd been told by several different doctors before they said to quit playing that basically the problem is you have muscle imbalances and we don't really know what to do with overuse injuries on top of that, so you should just quit. No! So this light bulb went off like, oh my gosh, we can fix this. So muscle imbalances are not inherently bad. Like you think of a baseball pitcher, their throwing arm is stronger than their non-throwing arm. Doesn't mean that that's a bad thing, but does that make the throwing arm more prone to an overuse injury or injury in general? Yeah, absolutely. And it's the same thing with musicians. Whether you hold your body in a certain position for hours a day times decades, you're going to get that kind of imbalance. And there's got to be a balance between doing what you love and also strengthening those weak muscles and increasing the endurance of the muscles that have to be strong. So that's what I do.
That's awesome. I love the encouragement too, because when we're told by a doctor or a specialist to say like pretty much your life's over kind of thing, and it's like, no, I want to keep going. So that's super awesome. So our second question is, and this is optional, is sharing your own story on how it might relate with mental health and or addictions. But we've also added on a second piece to this question too. The pandemic's been a real stress and struggle for so many. What your experiences have been with that in the last 17 months?
Yeah, well, definitely. So thinking about that, when things started back in March of 2020, our gym fought closing down until basically everything was shut down. We didn't have a choice. So then I'm stuck at home and I'm saying, well, what do I do to make money? I can't train people. And nobody was doing online like one-on-one. Remember, like back then, it was all the Zoom stuff wasn't really caught on. People were using Skype and FaceTime and not sure how to microphone and all this. And we just, I had some clients transition to online one-on-one training, but it was like my income went, straight down. I thought, oh my gosh, it was a really, really scary time. Like, honestly, I got behind on my mortgage. I had bills I couldn't pay. So, thankfully, I was able to look for I like to study resiliency. And I was able to look for the good in this and the opportunities in this, because every tragedy holds an opportunity. It holds a gift. And I thought, well, where are my opportunities here? What can I do? Because losing my house was just not an option. Becoming homeless was not an option. I thought, I've got to find some way to continue to do what I love. And there's got to be a better opportunity here now than I ever had before, because now I have literally a captive audience online. What can I do? So I found out I could refinance my home. So my mortgage payment dropped, and I also got 2 months where I didn't have to pay it, and the interest rate dropped. So that was a huge relief. The stimulus also helped. The unemployment helped, which I wasn't really a fan of taking, but I thought if there was ever a time, here we go. And then I pivoted to not. So if you didn't know, I wrote a book, and it's called The Musician's Essential Exercises. And originally I was like, I should probably branch out into instrument-specific books, like, the flutist's essential exercises or the drummer's essential. And I thought, books? Nobody's reading books right now. We're all watching TV and Instagram, and we're all social mediaing, right? This is my opportunity. I'll do videos. So I started doing these videos, and now I have a whole series of instrument-specific workouts that are on video. They're all free. They're on YouTube. And then I got such a good response on those. They were all really short, like 10 minutes long, tops, just like some very quick basics you can do with little to no equipment. Because at that point, we had no equipment. Like all the stores were sold out. They're still sold out. Good luck finding a pair of dumbbells that isn't $50,
Yeah.
Right? I mean, good luck even finding a bike still. So I thought, okay, what are some things we can do just with body weight that you don't have to have a lot of experience, that can help you keep your momentum? Because we're going to take a break and we're going to rest, but this is prime time for us to take care of ourselves, because what else do we have to do? We can't just sit at home and practice all day. So I started that, and that pivoted into a whole bunch of other online programs, online training, longer, in-depth, downloadable, on-demand workouts, all kinds of stuff. So I just thought, okay, I can see myself as a victim of this, or I can choose to dominate this and make it like the best opportunity. It was like the kick in the pants I needed, because I've been talking about going online forever, and I didn't know how, and this forced me to figure it out. So it was really actually a good thing.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. And you know what? I think the energy or the inspiration from you taking the negative into a positive, that just encourages somebody else to want to do something like that as well. So yeah, I guess we could, you're talking a little bit about social media. Where can people find you, download your stuff, or purchase a book? Let's hear all about that.
Sure thing. So you can find me on Instagram here at Music Strong Fitness. You can find me on Facebook at Music Strong. You can find me at LinkedIn at Angela.McCuiston. Basically, if you search Music Strong Fitness just about anywhere, you're going to find me. You just need to look for this logo. You're going to find it just about everywhere. I would say if you could scan that, it'll work, but I don't think you can scan it. So you can find me just about anywhere on the social media platforms, from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. I'm also on YouTube. I've got a YouTube channel. I've got an email list. If you go to my website, which is musicstrong.com, you can sign up for that. I'll send you my top 5 exercises for musicians. You can get my book on Amazon. Really, I try to be pretty accessible and pretty much everywhere. It's really easy to get in touch with me. I'd love to talk to anybody about whatever's concerning you, because we've got all these different aspects of musicians' wellness right now. Mental plays into it, resiliency plays into it, addiction definitely plays into it, and this is something we didn't talk about, but I've seen people choose, you could have addictive substances that people use to cope with. You can also use exercise to cope with, and it all has to do with, are you choosing to deal with what's going on in your life in a healthy way? You can take a healthy thing and make it unhealthy. So just be aware of that when you're like, okay, so I had a friend who said he's going through a divorce, and he said, I could either drink or I could exercise. And he took the exercise to the wrong extreme. So just be aware that even if you choose to do something healthy, when something knocks you down, take some time to sit with whatever is bothering you, and sit with that grief, and sit with that uncertainty and that frustration. And whenever you get that urge to drink or whatever your method of coping is, ask yourself why and what are you avoiding? Because that way we can keep those coping mechanisms more healthy instead of going the other extreme.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about this, what would be your like top three things that you do for self-care? We ask for three, but Instagram doesn't kick us off for a full hour. So, yeah, just your top three.
Sure. So, saying no, which is kind of funny because and I mean saying no to myself sometimes because being self-employed and working from home a lot, it's extremely easy for me to not stop. And I get burned out and I get frustrated. And if I don't put those boundaries on myself and say, no, this can wait, I need to go do whatever, I need to step away from work, then I'm not really taking care of myself. And that doesn't help me help other people. So setting boundaries and it's saying no, but also being like, all right, let me organize whatever this giant to-do list is and let me plan it out so I know when I can stop, know what has to be done instead of feeling like I have to get everything all the way done and like never sleep. So that's probably number one. Number two, self-care. I'm really prioritizing sleep. And I think we have enough people who use sleep martyrdom as a badge of honor. You're not helping anybody by bragging about how little you sleep. I mean, I used to do that too. I mean, like, oh, I only slept 4 hours and I practiced all this many times and I did it. And then I realized, like last year, I was a solid 8 hours girl. I never got 8 hours. I got 6, I got 5, maybe 7. And I always realized that when I would get 8 hours of sleep, I felt so much better. I was more awake. I had better mood. I was able to really engage with people and be present in whatever situation demanded that. And it was just more fun. And I wasn't so tired and seeking, caffeine all the time and everything. And I thought, well, I wonder if I can start doing that. Then the pandemic hit and I didn't have an alarm clock. And I just woke up whenever I wanted to wake up. And that turned into 9 hours. In the beginning, it was more like 10 hours. And that's just what trauma and stress does to your body. And when you're able to be aware of that, it's not a bad thing to say 9 hours or I need 10 hours of sleep. Everybody's different. And that's going to change throughout your life. So right now I'm at about 9 hours. This morning I didn't get up till 10:30. Oh my goodness, I needed it. I've had a really stressful week. My car was totaled. I was in a hit and run accident, and it's been really challenging. And so today I'm like, I'm just getting up when I get up. And my cats wanted me up earlier, and I said, no, get out. I'm going to sit here until I feel like getting up. And I finally looked at my clock, and it was 10:30 in the morning. Oh, I needed to be here. That's okay. So I find that when I take the time to prioritize that sleep, and if I know I need 9 hours, give myself 9.5. So whatever time that is, I can go to sleep and wake up. That allows me a little buffer room in case I need more. And if not, hey, I got more time in the morning. And that sets me up for a stress-free or a less stress morning. So I'm not rushing to get places and I feel better and I've got more energy and I'm more awake and more positive. And I roll into the gym all full of energy instead of just like dragging. I had a conversation with a trainer about that the other day. He's got a newborn, so he's in a little bit of a different situation. He's like, oh, 9 hours. No, I'm lucky to get 5. Like, what's that? Well, this too shall pass, man. But when you're able to, it's not it's not a luxury. I want to stress that if there's any way possible for you to prioritize sleep, it's not a luxury, it's a necessity. And you'll be a better musician if you allow yourself that rest. And so the third thing I do is it's a cross between two things: float tanks and bike rides. They're two different things, but they're things that make me happy. Like, sure, I love to lift weights and I like to be active and I like to play my instrument and all these things, but there's something really wonderful. Like, I have a hobby, which is riding my bike. And there's something wonderful about being gone for hours. Nobody can reach me. You can't call me on the phone. You cannot text me. I cannot be on social media. It's just me out in the middle of nowhere for 25, 30, 40 miles. I'm done when I'm done, and it's that exercise gives me so much mental clarity. I find that I can really, I get so many more ideas when I'm riding. I got to stop and like write them down and then, it's kind of the most annoying part of exercising. You get ideas and you can't do anything about them, right? But it helps you also kind of, it helps you, it's kind of like sleeping. Your brain sorts stuff out throughout the day. When you're exercising, it's the same thing. So I get a lot more ideas, and same with float tanks. Some people call them sensory deprivation tanks. It's just like, I'm going to go this afternoon. It's 1,000 pounds of Epsom salts, and you just relax in no light. The water is body temperature. You float. You walk out of there. I always fall asleep, and I walk out of there just feeling so much more okay, just chill, and I get the best night's sleep. And those 4 things, it's just really, really helps when I can prioritize those things for myself.
Awesome. I love the saying no to cats. No, I'm not waking up right now. That's awesome. Yeah, we don't have to just say no to humans. We got to say no to the animals too. And which, you know what, I find there's, we keep calling it the pandemic dogs or the pandemic pets, but, you know, what's going to happen when we have to go back to work, and, you know, there's, it is what it is. But, yeah, let's you know, before I close this up, I always like to kind of just give it as an open, if there, you know, I only ask 5 questions, but if there's anything that you want to, you know, share or promote or anything like that before I have my closing question.
Sure. So I get this question a lot of like, how can I work with you? And my problem, which isn't a problem really, is that I have too many options. So if anybody is looking for a personal trainer that is a musician, who specializes in musician, I'm your person, you know? And if you have something that's going on and I can't help you, I have no problem no problem referring you to somebody who can. But please don't just sit there in silence and suffer and think pain is part of the gig, because it's not. It's not. It's not. Please do not push through pain, because you don't want your body to break. And the more we push through pain's a signal something's wrong. And this gets into a whole other thing where talking about like lack mindset and how musicians think that we don't have enough jobs. And so I've got to stay on top of my game. Otherwise, you know, if I admit I'm injured, I'm lesser of a musician and no one will hire me and there's not enough jobs, and it's this awful, you know, downward spiral. It's not true. It's not. Think of the one thing that we had in the pandemic that everybody used. Music. What's the one thing we miss most? Live music. Now that it's coming back, that's the thing, right? So whatever that music is that you create, whether it's digital, whether it's instrumental, whether you're adding somehow to a platform, we need every single musician there is. And you saying that the stigma that we have, I'm just going to get out soapbox, the stigma that we have about not being good enough, or an injury is my fault, or that, we have to stop. We have to stop, and we have to learn how to take care of each other. And that is my goal. So what I'm doing with that is I have a program right now. I'm calling it my pilot program. And I'm also calling it job security, because what's the one thing that musicians think we can't have, we don't have, and we don't deserve to have? Well, it's job security. And it's kind of funny when you think about it that way, but that's the message that goes out there. You know, we accept these gigs for so little money just so we can have the privilege of playing. No, people get the privilege of listening to us. What is a piece of art? $8,000 to $8,000? Why are we not worth charging that? We are. So this program that I've come up with, it basically leads you through the 3 things that musicians don't have into what you can have. So if you're injured, I'm going to lead you out of injury. If you don't know who to see and what to do when you get injured, I'm going to give you the clarity and guidance that you need. So you're going to know, what are the different modalities that are available to me? Who do I go see? How do I increase my body awareness? And then we're also going to teach you how to build your very own corrective exercise routine. We're going to learn about strength and endurance and how they benefit you. It's not a workout program, but all those things go together to create job security for you. Because what's the one thing you can take care of? You can't control the pandemic. You cannot control, you know, people lowballing you and all that, right? You can say no, you can say yes, you have a choice over that. But when it comes to job security for yourself, the one thing you can take care of is yourself. So this is how we learn to get into that point. So that's the pilot program. And if you're interested in that, there's a link in my bio to that. But also, we are starting that tomorrow. It's ongoing registration, but I'd love to have you guys join. And that way we can start we can start changing the narrative around musicians' injuries, and we can start changing the world through that. And we need all of us. So let's do this. That's my big thing.
And I think, once this interview is done, I'm going to tag you in a bunch of Facebook music pages that I'm a part of. And I think it would be a huge, huge benefit for people to reach out to you and be a part of that. So, yeah, our closing question, and thank you for all that information and sharing. Our closing question is, yes, there are so many people out there struggling and suffering in any way. What would your message of hope be for them?
You mean struggling in all kinds of different ways in the industry, right?
Yeah.
It sounds trite and cliche, but it's true. And that's, this too shall pass. The thing that we have to remember, not just that, it's that we got to hunt the good stuff. We got to find that whatever you're dealing with right now, you don't have light without darkness. We don't have rain without sun. We don't have happiness without sadness, right? So if we've got tragedy, what's the opposite of tragedy? What is the opposite of oppression? What is the opposite? Whatever you're feeling right now, what's the opposite? Can you find that in the situation you're going through? I almost guarantee you can in some way. It's just very easy for us to get bogged down in the negative and the woe is me. Like I said, this week I was involved in a hit and run car accident and now my car's gone. What do? I wasn't saving for a new car. I just paid it off. If I have another person tell me, oh, it's a terrible time to buy a car. Thanks. That's not helpful. Like what? I know there's a chip shortage and then cars are hard to find and blah, blah, blah. Okay. What are the opportunities here that I didn't see? I was already thinking about when is the next time to get a new car. Well, I guess it's now. Decision made. Okay. Now I just have to go that. So whatever you're dealing with, please know that this is a temporary situation. All things in life are temporary. And that sounds negative, but it's not. So if you think like my awful situation right now is temporary, what do I have the power to change? Maybe not everything about it, but I can change one thing, maybe two things. What is that one thing I can do right now that can change the situation I'm in, I can find the positive or find the opportunity? It sounds like, if you're struggling with something negative, I know it sounds trite to say opportunity in the negative, but it's really true. So if we can step back, and I had a friend who told me about this the other day. He's like, if you can write down your story, write it down on paper, read it back in a hillbilly voice, or whatever voice just drives you crazy, you think is super ridiculous. Read it out loud in that voice, and doesn't it make the situation seem a little more ridiculous and a little less serious? Yeah. Okay. And then you start changing some words and you start seeing opportunity. And if you don't go follow the Enlifted coaches, go follow the Enlifted coaches. They're all about changing your words to make it into your words have power. So go check them out for some positivity.
Awesome. I am definitely a high believer in affirmations too. So be careful what you wish for.
Absolutely.
I just have to say I'm full of gratitude for anybody that hops on here and participates in any sort of wellness advocacy. So huge gratitude, and I always close this up with a stay safe, self-care, and also stay connected. And hopefully after this we can book you in for an online gig if you're willing to accept. That would be super awesome. And we do have PayPal, so it doesn't matter what country you're from. We absolutely love to be neighbors. So yeah, we're just want to say a huge thank you, and yeah, let's stay connected.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. This is delightful.
Thank you. And everybody stay safe, have a good day, and stay tuned. We're live every Saturday, and yeah, I'll be in touch for sure. All right,
sure.
thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.